based on square footage as far as how we're doing this out here. And just again, we'll just go right through it real quick here. The greens and teas are about 1.25 of an acre. We're using a granulated fertilizer, a Nature Safe 835, about 4 times a year. It's about 0.65 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Total material application is about 250 pounds for the year. Total of about 900 pounds of liquid fertilizer goes out, and that's a 9.30. It's applied every 2 to 3 weeks, 8 times total, in conjunction with the greens and teas and whatnot. And the nitrogen level is about 2.5 gallons per application, or 20 gallons per year. And again, the granulated is an organic fertilizer, and the nitrogen is a chemical application. The fairways in selected rough areas we use a granulated fertilizer 2 times a year, June and August. It's a Nature Safe product in conjunction with a moderate rain or water. We're using 0.85 pounds per 1,000 square feet applied. We're basically treating about 17 acres, or about 2,350 pounds of material per application, for a total of 4,700 pounds of Nature Safe 2702 per year. No liquid fertilizers are used on the fairways. Just to give you the reason we're doing the Nature Safe or the organic fertilizer is the organic fertilizers doesn't burn quite as much as a chemical application would burn if we misapplied it, or if we dropped a bag or something like that. So it's almost, the organic stuff is a slow release product, and it's hard to basically mess up. And that's kind of why we're using it. Obviously, some people like the word organic. All it really is that it is a slow, very slow release fertilizer. It's the same amount of nitrogen as a chemical product. It's just how it releases in the ground and whatnot. All right, on the pesticides, we are applying to protect the turf and from destructive diseases, weeds, insects, and integrate the pest management practices in mind. Basically, the pesticides are for insects, and we're applying those strictly to basically the greens and the teas. We do a grub control, which is about 17 acres of that is done with a grub control. That's done as a preventive medicine, and it's done once a year on that. We also do fungicides. The fungicides are applied to the greens and teas. The diseases we're treating for the fungicides are pink and gray snow mold, dollar spots, brown patches, and some blight units. The pink and gray snow mold obviously is done twice, 2 applications, 2 weeks apart, in mid-October, early November. That is strictly for the snow mold that happens. Didn't happen too bad this year, but it does happen in the wintertime. And then we treat periodically during the year for the fungicide every 2 to 4 weeks, based on weather conditions. Depends on how humid it is, how much water is out there, and the insecticides and the fungicides are all done through a water-based system with a sprayer and whatnot. The insecticides are used to control Japanese beetles, grubs, weevils, ants, and whatnot. And those are basically applied as we see them. And they're usually done about 4 times a year at best. Certain insects come out at certain times of the year. The herbicides, we do apply herbicides. It's basically a weed control. The herbicides are your crabgrass, clover, dandelions, things like that. They are done as they pre-emerge, which we'll be doing the crabgrass first. We'll be doing the dandelion second, and the clover we usually do somewhere in July of the year. So, and those are all. The other thing that we're doing on the golf course, as far as chemicals go, we are putting down a wetting agent. The wetting agent, which is applied both to the greens and the fairway, they changes the molecules of the dirt basically to accept water and hold on to water so that we can use less water in the course of the year. In the last couple of summers, the watering agents obviously became very important, and that's how we maintain a green grass even during a drought season, because it's similar to if you had a flower pot and you just can't, it dries up and you just can't get water back into it, it just bubbles over. This wetting agent will change that composition of the dirt to accept water and hold on to water. It's quite expensive, but it actually works, and especially drought. Just to let you know, on all the insecticide, pesticide, herbicides, and the watering agents, they have basically a lifespan of anywhere from 30 days to 90 days. Nothing is over 90 days. So at the end of 90 days, if we apply any kind of product, it goes inert over time. At the maximum is 90 days. So all these chemicals that we are putting on do stay on the property. Everything obviously leaches off and eventually hits the groundwater and eventually hits Mad River, which we all know. But by that time, you're talking about close to a year time down the road. These chemicals are all innate by that way before they even get close to the other side of the road, actually. So that's how they're all set up, and that's how the state promotes it. So that's basically what we're using for chemicals out here. If anybody has any questions about that, I'd be happy to try to answer those questions about the insecticide chemicals and stuff like that. And then the other thing I was just going to talk briefly about is drainage. So if anybody has any questions about the fertilizers, or how we're applying them, or when do we apply them, or how many pounds per square inch or something like that.
I'm good.
Seeing none. I just, in general, as you all know, especially I think the conservation, your commission here is getting involved in drainage and road drainage. We are accepting a lot of water from Moose Run, goes directly into our irrigation pond. We are filtering it. We do have a pre-filter system, which is in the ground actually out here that comes in from the drainage of there. The only thing that kind of scares me a little bit about those, the catch basins up on Moose Run do not have like an oil separators in them. So if you had an automobile accident up on Moose Run and a major fire or a gas leak or something like that, we would probably see the water in our pond almost immediately. At which time we would probably have to somehow drain that pond, because we obviously can't shoot that water out onto the golf course. We're also taking water off of Snows Mountain Road in different capacities in different areas. We do have some vegetated swales out here that we're using. There's one that we actually created. There's another one that's a natural swale that is accepting this water, and it pretty much takes a pretty good job of handling all the water from the road. But obviously roads, these catch basins should have oil separators in them, so that we don't, if there was an accident or car accident up there, we're not accepting dirty water. We're also accepting water from the tennis court property. It goes straight into our property here, and some of it crosses a bit, which is kind of cool. The little pond in front of 6 has a whole clay layer underneath it, which is nothing but the tennis court clay. So it's all coming in here. And the clay obviously doesn't hurt anything and probably helps us whatnot. But we are accepting a lot of water. We are discharging some water off the property across the street, but that's mostly like storm water, major rainstorms and stuff like that. But on a day-to-day basis like today, we are accepting water from Snows Mountain Road and Moose Run directly. At some point, some of that probably should be treated or changed, or at best, the cul-de-sacs should be changed out and put new cul-de-sacs in that have oil separators in them, because oil floats to the top of water, and that's what they do. If there was an accident, it would be contained on the road area, and then it would be pumped out at that point, not going directly into our property. So we're obviously not discharging any water out of our irrigation ponds or anything. We do discharge rain runoff and really basically hold on to the water that we have here on property. And the irrigation pond is just that, an irrigation pond. It's completely lined with rubber, and we're filling it up naturally, but it is an irrigation pond, not a wetlands, let's say. So that's really all I really wanted to say, or whatever, if, in case anybody has any questions or whatnot.
No, sounds very thorough. Thank you.
Yeah, I just really wanted to tell people that we're not willy-nilly doing it, all right? We're not just spending 15 grand on fertilizers and just throwing it out there. We actually do work with the state. We are licensed, and they do monitor us twice a year, actually. And they do usually one visit out here once a year. And we do not store a lot of material on site. We do store some, obviously, but we can get deliveries in, and as soon as the big deliveries come in, the stuff goes straight out. We're not really storing a lot of product here on site, because the fertilizer and diesel fuel can blow up. So it is kind of dangerous. Even the organic stuff will blow up. That's what they used in Timothy Bouvet there. He blew that building up with fertilizer.
You mentioned diesel fuel. Is that a above or below ground storage?
Above ground. Okay. We're 5-gallon tanks.
Oh.
Containers.
And you have gas for the gas carts. That's not diesel.
Yes, we have at any given time. We probably have 30 gallons of gasoline on site in 5-gallon containers, and we probably have 30 gallons of diesel fuel on site in 5-gallon containers.
Okay.
That's in the containers. Obviously, all the equipment has gas in their gas tanks, so you pretty much double, if you add it all together, the amount of gas and diesel that we use here. We're starting to use more diesel than gas, so that's good.
So Craig, is there a time when you're considering electric golf carts?
They are cheaper to buy. They're just, the infrastructure is more expensive, and I have to build the infrastructure. The gas carts that we use are more expensive, but the resale value is better for them too. They don't take a lot of gas. The mowers take way more fuel and whatnot than those golf carts do. I think an average golf cart might do 3 fill-ups at 5 gallons, so 15 gallons in the season. And to do a charging station, you would have to have a building and whatnot, and and the resale value on them is not as good. And we would have to beef up our electrical system in the buildings. Right now we have 200 amps in the garage, 200 amps in the clubhouse. We'd probably have to add another 200 amp service for something along that line, because you'd have to basically plug them all in.
Yeah.
So I think there would be a cost involved that, anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000. And that's not having any better product than we got now, I guess. So that's what it would be.
Well, perhaps in the future, with a few solar arrays, since you have some land, maybe we'll add that golf course to the list for.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different thing. I just want to let you know, I used to own self-storage buildings, huge 400,000 square foot buildings. We tried to put solar panels on them. In Massachusetts, it's a lot easier. You get credits and all that good stuff. I could not get anybody to sell me a panel. I don't think you can actually get anybody to sell you a panel today. So I think that's, if you want to work on something, I'd be interested, but I would want the panels. I do not want to deal with a company coming in here and asking me what my tax structure is. I'm a big fan of, if sell me a panel, I'll be happy to put them up. They're not complicated. I'll handle my own tax issues. But you'll see that you cannot buy a panel.
That's good.
Try buying one. I bet you can.
We have a company working on this in town right now, but we'll.
But they sell you, ask them the point blank question, how much for a panel?
We will talk
And
to
if I can buy a panel, I will buy the panel. But I bet you $1 million, they will not sell it to you.
Don't say that.
No, what they'll do is set it all up and, lease you out for 30 years or whatever. But they won't say it's $30, $50, $100, $200, whatever the number is. You won't get a straight answer out of those guys.
Okay, and one more question, Mark, maybe you can answer if it's possible to address the, what was the catch basin? Is there a way to address his issue with the oil to be filtered in the catch basins? You're muted.
Not right off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Well, if you're going to upgrade the roads, you'd want to upgrade the roads with newer style catch basins. I think that's the answer to the question.
Yeah.
If you guys, I thought you were looking in a little bit into the drainage scenarios up
We are.
there. When they replace or update some of these roads, they should update the catch basins at the same time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a this is Rich, it's going to be a multi-year project.
Yeah, but these things have been around, for 30 years, so it's not, these aren't.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, we're going to get to roads sequentially over the next, hopefully,
Right.
5-6 years. And
I think it's almost any bid price that you went out and bid the road out, they would put them in.
Good.
'Cause I'm not so sure you can buy any other kind at the moment, so.
Okay.
By the way, thanks, Craig. All that was very useful. And I particularly like the comment, the discussion you led on the issue of how you keep your property watered. I don't think a lot of people in town realize that you do it from your own pond. And we're going to have another tough drought year. It looks like what we're setting up for.
Yeah, we actually, I mean, usually it's somewhere like last year, you kind of cross your fingers. We get to the point sometimes in August where we're just watering our greens in our tee boxes and not doing the fairways all as much. So we're watching. I mean, I'm literally watching the level in that pond all the time. So, and we're trying to attract more water, meaning, make sure we're not leaching any water out of the creeks that we're using, and trying to update those a little bit. Because yes, water is going to be more valuable as we go along here. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your informative
Yeah,
call.
thank you, Greg.
And if anybody has any questions, you can stop me. We'll show you what we're using and things like that. There's no secret. There's no big deal.
Greg, when do you open the clubhouse?
Clubhouse will be open May 1st for the Kentucky Derby party.
Oh, May 1st.
You gonna have booze?
We always got booze. Booze makes the world go around.
Booze is how he makes money.
Right.
Yep.
This is how you can tolerate playing golf. So.
Don't tell the planning board. We're thinking of bringing racework in on May 1st. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Greg.
Okay, that was good. Let's review the minutes from January 19th. Sorry, not January 19th. March 8th. Does everyone have a copy of the minutes from March 8th?
I do.
Yes.
Any,
Eric, this is Rich. The only comment I would make is in paragraph 2, I should just be identified as select board. Because John's actually the planning board ex officio, and it might confuse people.
oh, it says select board ex officio. Is that wrong?
Yeah, you shouldn't have ex officio, just select board. I was just attending as a attendee, not in any,
Oh, yeah, he's not a member of our committee ex officio.
right, that's that young man behind you.
Yeah,
For the planning board, yeah,
Thank you for that, Rich. Young man, I like that.
you are welcome, John. Just return the favor someday when you see me hobbling along.
Right. Okay, any questions? Small typo. If you look down where it says new business, at number 6, the Municipal Solid Waste Committee has 7 members and 3 or 4 alternates, not of 4.
oh, okay. 3
I
or
think
4.
that's what you meant,
Yep,
or 4. I'm not sure that's the final number, Rich. Do you remember? Are we 7 or 9 or 11?
He's muted.
No, we are 11, no?
I thought so.
Yeah, 7 full and 4 alternate, yes.
11 members and 4 alternates.
No, 11 total, 7 full of 4,
Okay, 7
4 alternates, yeah.
oh, okay.
and 4 alternates, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so will need to vote to approve the meetings, the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes as amended.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, got that? All right. And if Mark is ready, he wants to speak about our latest potential purchase. Oh, you're,
We have, I have a couple of things to talk about. The first thing I'd like to go over is a potential land purchase for the Conservation Commission, which is exciting for me because it's the first time in 20 years that we have an opportunity to actually buy some land and put it into conservation easement, basically. But so what I would like to do here, if you don't mind, is share my screen with you so that I can show you the land that we are talking about here.
okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Sharon, could I get screen sharing capability, please? Hold on just a sec. But basically, Bob Freeze came in and was talking to me about the final lot in the Moose Run subdivision that the Waterville Company owns. And as you probably know, they are liquidating all their assets. So he has been trying to sell this final lot to abutting landowners and has not had much luck in doing that. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so this is the parcel that we are talking about, 105-1032C.
Okay.
It's right here adjacent, this is the bridge over the brook on Valley Road.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is the parcel that we are talking about. It is oops, go the other way, 1.79 acres. And most of it is wetlands, all right? But I think this is a very useful parcel for the town for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is a majority wetlands, so you would be putting that in, we could set it up so that it was in a perpetual conservation easement permanently. As town property, it won't be taxed anyway, so there's really no tax ramifications at all with that. But it also gives us the opportunity with our town center plans and the path around the pond. One of the places we've been looking at trying to cross and connect the path would be right here. If we owned 32C as a town, it would give us the opportunity potentially of crossing in the existing sally ports underneath the road by the bridge. And we could build a crossing somewhere across the river up here, all right? Either in conjunction with Waterville Place or even from our land to our land. So as a town. So this could be a multi-use parcel. There is some high ground within the wetlands in this area that we could potentially set up benches or a little park type of place that's right along the existing cross-country ski trails and hiking trails that go through this parcel. So this is a really good piece of land from the town manager's perspective, and something that I think that the Conservation Commission should consider. If the selectmen were to take this on and try to acquire it just for the town as the Board of Selectmen, they would have to go through the town meeting process, okay? And so doing it through the Conservation Commission, when you look at the powers of a Conservation Commission, one of the powers is that you can, right here, acquire, maintain, improve, protect, or limit future use of property, okay? And the only thing that the Conservation Commission has to go through is the public hearing process that a regular planning board would have to go through. So it's under RSA 675-7. There's a posting requirement that does not, is very easy to do on the town website and, posted a couple places around town. The Conservation Commission then holds a public hearing to take input and then votes after the public hearing whether or not to acquire the land. And you, as the Conservation Commission, can actually enter that agreement with the property owner and you can purchase land. All right.
Can you give me that RSA again? 675?
675-7 is the public hearing RSA. Right now, the Conservation Commission has $5,400 in your capital account, and you have $3,000 in your operating budget. The selectmen have voted to assist the Conservation Commission with contingency monies from the town operating budget to make up any balances. If you were, say you had the $5,400 plus $2,000 out of your $3,000, so that if you needed to do education or whatever later on, wanted to keep a little bit of money to do that, you could still have a budget as a conservation commission.
How much
So
are they wanting to sell it for, or will they donate it to the town for a tax deduction?
they will sell it to the town for $10,000.
That's nothing.
No money.
Where do we sign?
Okay. So if the commission wants to, we will draw up the public hearing notice, send it out to you all. And we will propose a couple of dates that, fall within the required range by 675-7. And once you guys say which day you want to do the public hearing, we will publicize it and you can hold your hearing.
To make up the balance, can we, I know a lot of towns do.
There's no ballot. There's no ballot. This is.
No, I mean, we only have $5,400. I mean, we have less than $10,000.
Oh, to make
The
up.
town can just donate money, but in order to get the community involved, if we say we have an opportunity to buy some conservation land and we're looking for donations to help purchase the property, it'll get it out there and people will feel more involved in the situation. Is that worth the effort?
If that's what you want to do,
I know it'll take longer, but.
well, speed is of the essence as far as the, I forget, I think it's 1 October. There is a deadline that the Waterville Company has.
Oh.
But you can enter a conditional purchase and sale and give yourself 60 days or whatever. We'll help you with the terms of the purchase and sale. But you can give him a deposit and out of your 5,400, basically what I would be looking for is a vote tonight that you're going to move forward with purchasing the land for the $10,000, that we're going to schedule the public hearing. We're going to have Bob freeze. We're going to enter a purchase and sale and give yourself whatever number of days you want. And then you can do your fundraising by whatever method you want. You want to do a mailing to everyone. You want to do by word of mouth, and however you want to do it. Try to raise the other $4,600. Maybe you go to the foundation and ask them if there's.
Yeah, I mean, and part of me wants to just, we have a lot of good Facebook public forums and, a lot of people are becoming very chatty, and it might be a good way to get our name out there and something that we're doing good, and maybe we can get more people involved, that type of thing. And I'm not overly enthusiastic about being in charge of it, but I hate to see an opportunity go by where we're doing something good that other people can feel good about and
Well, being in charge of it, we'll work with town council once you purchase it.
No, I mean like the fundraising part.
Oh, the fundraising part. Oh, well, have a good time with that, because I don't do fundraising. I do fundraising. It's called town meeting.
Oh, yes, I know. It's not as much of a feel-good thing as conserving land.
Well, I think it's gonna be a really easy sell to people. I think.
Oh, yeah, but it still takes time to communicate to people what it is that we'd like to do and why we like to do it, and
yeah, and I
throw money at us.
Set your sights high. Tell them that the purchase price is $10,000 and you're looking for donations. And because
we've got matching dollars.
you don't have to necessarily do it all out of this capital account. You can use the capital account as seed money, but why not try to raise $6,000, $7,000, $8,000? Because you can use the rest of that money in your capital account for other land purchases or other projects that you want to do.
Right.
Well,
since we're talking about that subject, if I did throw something into that Facebook page and just mention we want to do this, we're a conservation commission. Are we automatically considered a charitable donation? Is it a tax deductible donation?
It's the same as donating.
Just want to be able to say that with authority.
The same as making a donation to the town of Waterville Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
They should be making the checks, if somebody wants to donate, they should be making checks payable to either the town of Waterville Valley or the Waterville Valley Conservation Commission.
okay,
And then the selectmen will, whatever money you receive, we will put an agenda item on the selectmen's meeting agenda, and they will accept it for that purpose, which actually increases your ability to spend additional money during the year, right?
right.
So that would prevent us from having to use the contingency account. So that's a good thing.
Okay, well, let's see how many people are generous these days knowing their taxes are gonna go up, so it's
Well,
worth a
the
shot.
taxes, they got a year. Don't worry about it. And the federal government's already gonna, give us back some of the money they've already taken away from us. So,
All right.
all
So,
right.
Mark, speaking of additional funding, did you not say that we were setting aside a few $100 for Rick Vanderpool's further research?
Well, that's the kind of thing that I would not commit that entire $3,000 to the land purchase,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that, and you can use that in your fundraising discussions, that you have other projects and other initiatives going on, right? And you're trying to save as much of that $8,400 as you can.
I highly suspect that is one of the pieces of land that he would recommend preserving simply
Oh,
because of
absolutely. This
location
is
to the
gonna
river.
be, this is a great opportunity for us, and I really appreciate Bob Freeze, notifying us that this was happening
Yeah.
and being willing to go back to the landowner and say, hey, I'd really like to sell it to the Conservation Commission instead of you.
Okay, let's make a motion for the Conservation Commission to purchase this parcel of land and at $10,000, is that, okay.
I guess so.
And do I have a second?
Second, I seconded Ed, $10,000.
Very good.
Any further discussion or all in favor?
I'd like to thank Mark very much, Mark. This is awesome the way you guys have teed it up. It's a great piece of land, and I just want to say thank you.
Good. Nope, I'm glad we can do it.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited also. And Mark, just a question. Bob Freeze is willing to give us first refusal on, because there's a little bit of timing involved here in getting things together.
Yeah, I'm gonna, if it's all right with you, well, first take your vote. Everybody in agreement with it?
Yes.
I,
Aye.
All right. So what I will do is I will talk to Bob tomorrow. I will let him know we'll do a purchase and sale. Which unless Rich has some major issue with this, I'll sign it on behalf of the commission for right now. I'm gonna ask for at least 60 days to complete everything because we've got to get to town council and we've got to hold this public hearing and everything else. I
Okay,
may even ask for 90 if we can stretch it. Just to make sure we can get the closing done. And then we'll move forward on getting Bob to draw up the deed and get it reviewed by town council. And then you guys should be out there beating the bushes for money. I
okay.
think I heard about money trees being in the north end or something.
I think they got buried in snow.
No. Oh, oops. That's our renewable energy.
Oh,
Well, at least your computer's not on it too.
Yeah. So we'll, beat the bushes and try to get the money,
Okay,
We're thrilled. Thank you, Mark.
right? Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so onward. We have some old business updates on the wastewater treatment plant. Are there any updates there?
Well, no, we're basically waiting for town meeting to, and I don't know if you guys can give me any insight. We are not hearing any rumblings. You know, sometimes if there's going to be something that's going to be contentious at town meeting, we at least hear that maybe there's someone that's going to bring something up. But we've held 2 public hearings on the bond issue, and we had 5 people at the first one and 6 people at the second one. So we don't know that anyone's having a problem with this.
How many people have watched it?
Well, not many more, maybe 10 to 15 more.
Wow. So we don't know if people even know about it versus.
I don't. And you know, we've been mentioning it at the community meetings and that sort of thing, but nobody, you know, I think Rich and Margaret mentioned to me today that the comments they're getting are more along the lines of, well, we got to do it, and you know, don't like it, but we have to do
What
it.
choice do you have?
Well,
No water?
But the threshold, we need 60% approval. So,
Oh,
you know, we've got to have people understand that this isn't a simple majority vote. It's going to be a ballot vote, and the
Mhm.
threshold is 60%. So
60% of town residents or
no,
60?
60% of those
attendees?
who show up to the meeting.
so if 100 people show up, we need 60 of them to vote for it.
Exactly.
10 people show up, you need 6.
That's correct.
Wow.
That's like,
I would hope that town meeting doesn't have 6 people at it, 'cause I would really be disappointed. But don't forget, don't put your long johns away until after town meeting, because that arena is cold. So
Yeah. Oh,
if
yeah.
you're gonna sit there for a couple hours, you better have longies on. I'm
Just
really-
wear your ski suit.
yeah, go ahead.
So, other than that, the current plant is, you know, we need to get the appropriation done, not just for the new plant project, but to get some maintenance money, because we do need to address some immediate repair needs, at the plant. So those
Okay.
are, I mean, there's nothing, you know, nothing's imminent, but we do need to get repairs underway.
Okay, a different subject regarding the lagoons.
Yeah,
How long do you think we'll be using those lagoons? And what's the description? 2 lagoons out of 6? What's the story? I'm looking at potential land in the future.
I have no idea what the land requirements are going to be. So remember, one of the options that we're looking at or have been looking at is the groundwater discharge.
Mhm.
That needs to be totally designed. I have no idea whether that's 5 basins,
Mhm,
what it is.
mhm.
All we know right now is that if the underlying land percolates correctly,
Mhm,
the parcel beside us from the National Forest
mhm.
has the potential to be enough land to do these basins.
That'd be great.
Okay, but if we do some remember, we haven't dug any holes or done anything subsurface yet.
Hmm.
If
know.
that land underneath it's like a septic system. So if the land doesn't percolate correctly, then you need more basins or you need bigger basins.
Hmm.
Land are you talking about?
The National Forest land beside us. here,
The corner between Forest Knoll and
yeah,
and
and
the,
Tecumseh Road. Yeah.
Okay. well, there's a stream
You
through
know,
there.
We haven't, you know, there's all kinds of public hearings and everything else that we would have to do, and permitting and everything else. That right now is the only parcel that is large enough
Hmm.
to give us enough usable land, okay, for the basins. But we don't even know if the basins are the way we're gonna go, or if we're going to continue to discharge into the river. You know, if we continue to discharge into the river, we may be able to build the new plant on existing land. The new plant, I don't know if it's going to take the 2 lagoons that we currently have,
Mhm.
or if we're going to be able to go down to 1 lagoon.
Hmm.
I don't know what the configuration is on the land. It's just, it's way too early to know that.
Okay.
So we need money in order to find out what our
We
options
need
are.
money in order to get the engineers working
Yeah.
and get them started on, so that we can get some answers. I know people are like, what about this, and what are our options? Who knows?
All right. The
Okay.
next item of business is just a couple of administrative things. We
Well,
still need,
I got a couple of other new business items that I
do?
need
Okay.
to talk to you
Shoot.
about, because they are
Yeah.
conservation and water related. So the water project along the Mad River, the new line
Yes.
for well 3 and the treatment building connection and the new crossing of the river.
Yep.
We have our wetlands permit submitted to DES. We're waiting for a decision back
Mhm.
on that. We also have been talking to David Britton, who's the property owner now of that rec land right below High Country,
Oh, yeah.
about easements. So we're working on those easements with him.
Hmm.
We have a 70% design completed on the lines and everything. And once we get the wetlands permits back, we will then go to the 100%
Hmm.
plan and get it out to bid. Our goal is to get it out to bid as quickly as we can this summer. But right now we're looking at, we probably will not be able to actually put a shovel in the ground until next spring.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
it's just getting everything permitted in the land of COVID is even more excruciating than it was before. So
Mhm.
So what do you need on David Britton's land?
we need David to sign an easement.
Oh, an easement.
There is
How big
never-
a piece, how big a piece?
It's not a piece, it's the strip of land that has the water line in it. That has been an easement by prescription, not by description. So it was never drawn up in a document.
Oh, okay.
So we never had a written easement with the Waterville Company for that.
Oh,
It
because,
follows the same area that we've been using for 40 years, but it was never written up. So we're just drawing up that document and need to get,
formalizing things. Got it.
so. And then my final thing is precipitation. And I'm gonna share the screen again because we have, so do you see that spreadsheet?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
this column is 2019 and 20 and 21. This number right here, can you
Oh my
see?
God.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make it bigger because you need to see these numbers.
Okay.
This is the total precipitation, snow and rain, for the first 3 months in 2019. This is the precipitation total for the first 3 months in 2020. And this is the precipitation total for 2021. We are 10 inches
Oh, my God.
behind
Yep.
in the first 3 months behind where we were in 2019. Okay,
Very bad.
yes, this is very bad, and it's an inch less than we were in that same time period from 2020.
Oh.
And you all remember that at the end of the summer, we were in severe drought.
Yep.
Okay, so this is not good news right here. Okay, and I
Hmm.
just, we need to start talking about it
Mhm.
because people need to be aware, and the selectmen have reiterated, and we will start putting on the website and Facebook page, etc., that the water ban that the selectmen put in place last summer is still in effect. We never lifted that ban.
Right.
So outdoor irrigation is not allowed right now. Okay, outdoor water use is not allowed, and we may have to take additional steps, because if we keep this pace up, I mean, we're talking about not having, hardly any precipitation throughout the year. I mean, if we went this way, we're talking 20 inches of rain or precipitation. And if you change this, that would compare to 60 inches in 2019.
Hmm.
Okay. Because this 62 is the entire year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. So, we're talking 1/3 of our annual rainfall, annual precipitation.
Mark, does that mean no washing your vehicle?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
All right. You need to make,
Any outdoor use of residential properties.
Do you have something that we could hand out to all of our owners here at or any of the associations, door to
Yeah,
door?
we'll start getting educational material together.
Okay.
okay.
Well, in my opinion, the fastest way is to forward it to each, like each president association and have, Debbie Bell has
Yeah.
if she's their manager, she can email people directly rather than waiting for them to get something in the mail.
Right.
And that's, I
Yeah.
don't know, a lot of people throw that stuff away, so.
And
Yeah.
Mark, does this include hand watering outdoor plants?
Well, that's one of the things that we need to consider. I've got to look at the exact wording. Rich, do you remember exactly what it says? I know it says irrigation and outside use, but I'm not sure if that included hand watering.
I don't recall. I know
So we'll have to take a look at it and get you that info, but I will be talking to Sean Ward and the other people involved with the Summer Blooms program.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if they're talking about 100+ barrels all around town,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were talking about mechanized watering and trucks and,
Well, at the very least, they can buy that material that holds water.
that's right. They're going to have to take some steps. Absolutely.
Or use gray water.
It's hard to
Well,
collect.
even gray water is, it's problematic because it's going to be really, I think it's going to come down to any water use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be the disposal of that water. It's going to be the production of that water. I remember we're operating on only 2 of our wells,
Okay.
and you saw how low the river got last year,
Oh, yeah.
and well 2 is right there beside the river, so I don't want to have it stressed any more than it needs to be.
Got it.
Okay.
Yikes.
Okay, so I will stop sharing the bad news. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Welcome to Waterville Valley. Don't use water.
Yes, exactly.
Safe water shower with a friend, right? Okay, couple of minor questions. We still need an alternate for Dan Newton. I think we do.
I think he was a full member.
I think we pushed him up to a full member. I thought.
He was
So
a
we have,
full member.
Yeah, we do need another.
there's
So,
4 of us as full members? Is John considered a full member? How does that work?
Yes, ex officio is a full
Is a
member.
full
He's
member?
a voting member.
voting member, yes.
And Chris.
Yeah.
So
Ed, Martha, you're a full
So
member.
it's the 4 of you and Chris who are the voting members.
those 5.
Okay, so then
We don't have any alternates, basically.
You do not have any alternates on
Right.
our list.
Looking for an alternate.
we're still looking for one. Okay. And the other minor question is, we mentioned the wigwag last time, but I can't add another job to my workload. If somebody wants to write a sentence or two about what the Conservation Commission is doing, send it in to me. I will forward it on. I already have what Andy Knight calls the green corner in the wigwag. So we're including the Renewable Energy Committee, the Recycling Committee, and the Solid Waste Committee. So if any of you would like to add a few words, send it on to me. Okay? All right, Mark, do you want to take it on? Really?
No, thank you.
Okay. Privilege of the floor. Any other questions, additions?
Rich, did I miss anything that water related that you can think of?
Nope, all good.
All right, so the date of the next meeting. I don't think it's pressing to meet in May unless I'm mistaken. Do we
Well,
need?
you're gonna, no, Eric, you're going to have a meeting in May because you're gonna have the public hearing.
Okay,
Right,
all right,
right.
calendar.
Well, I don't schedule it yet. Let me talk to Bob Freeze and let me get you some information.
Okay,
Because remember, we've got the public hearing notice requirements, which I think are 675-7 says that it has to be at least 10 calendar days before the hearing. So,
Mm.
and that's not counting the day of the notice or the day of the hearing, so 12 days between.
okay,
So it's going to be mid-May, well,
yeah,
second or third week of May.
Right
before
after
we
the
have
town meeting?
Second Tuesday,
How about 3rd?
the 11th of May is town meeting.
Right.
So probably we're looking at the 17th or 18th of May.
yep,
Okay, is that
Yeah.
all right?
yes, I was thinking of the 17th of May, but you can get back to us as to what you think is best.
Okay, well, I'll target that and I think we can make that work. And
Good.
I'll get with Bob and make sure he understands what we're doing.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Ed, any questions?
No, thanks.
All right. Rich, are you good? Okay. So should we move to adjourn? It's a little past 5. I guess we can move to adjourn.
I move we close the meeting.
Okay, I second. Thank you very much, all of
in
you.
favor?
All in
Thank
favor?
Bye, thanks.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
thank you.
Bye-bye.